I'm gonna jump right into it. But before, I'm gonna ask you to do something with me. And before I ask you, I just want you to know that I'm an introvert. So I'm not asking lightly. But it's going to be less than a minute and it'll be over super quick. So if you don't mind humoring, please stand up. Maybe put your coffees down for a second because I would just want you to shake it out. Just shake it out, shake it out. You know, it's early in the morning. I ate a lot of bagels. Okay, all right. So I want you to find the person next to you. And then tell me if my mic just pops out. I feel like I'm not pop star material enough for this. All right, so find someone next to you and then just make a silly face. Wah! All right, excellent. Now you're going to turn to the person. Oops. Now turn to the other person on the other side. Do the same. Make a scary wild face. Ah! Excellent. Good, good, good. All right, now I want you all to find someone across the room or a couple rows away. Make eyes. Everyone's got eyes. Need eyes. Okay, and make a funny face. Ah! And take a deep breath and sit down. I hope that wasn't too painful. Thank you for doing that. What you did right now was actually a lot. You were very brave. You went outside of your comfort zone. It's really hard making an absolutely silly face to a random stranger. Also, that person, is this popping out? I feel like my collar. Okay. Also, the person that you just made eyes with, maybe after this, maybe when you see them out on the city, you're like, hey, we made a funny face together. So you cultivated connection. That's a lot that we just did being silly. So silliness is complex. It's being brave. It also takes a lot of softness. Hi, everyone. I'm Risa. Thank you for doing that. I'm an artist, I'm an instructor, I'm a community organizer, but first and foremost, I'm an introvert. People don't believe me, but what you did right now together with me actually makes me feel more brave because I'm terrified up here. It's scary. It's so scary, but you helped me, so thank you for doing that. When Rachel and the Creative Morning team invited me to talk about soft, I was like, yes, I would be honored because I was in the audience to be up here. Oh my God, yes. And soft? I mean, of course, like, look at my stuff. Look at this. It's soft, it's fluffy, it's fun, it's colorful. This topic was made for me, yes. But then I started thinking about that stuff, the fuzzy stuff. And actually, it took a lot of metal, sharp tools, a lot of heavy machinery that could just rip your arm off for me to get from here to there. So my relationship with softness is also my relationship with its counterpart. Both things for me along my journey have always been together. And that, I think, is the thing I want to share. I am an artist. I always have considered myself an artist. So naturally, I went to business school. Yep. And I don't really care like what school I went to, whatever. Not because I didn't have fun, because I had so much fun. Truly. But I like to tell people because there are so many places that we are told we don't belong in, when actually, we do. Artists shouldn't go to business school because it would be boring. And that could 100% be true. But you can also have, so much fun. What is up with okay. Nobody wants to hear me in echo.
Feels
Does it? Okay, it feels like dramatic, you know. So we belong in those places. Well, I did really get a lot louder. I'll try and not project my voice so I don't blast out your eardrums. So I like to tell people because they belong in places when we're told we're not. Like business school. And you know what? Business school could definitely use some art classes. So I was always creative and I felt really precious about it. But I thought I wanted to learn more about the systems, like the systems to get my creativity to the point where I can make more art. And not just more art, but the systems and capitalism, how do I make more art and also eat food and pay rent, things like that. So the softness of creativity and the rigidity of business school. You see any of that? So when I picked up my mom's old woodworking tools that she used to use from the 70s, I didn't think, hey, you know what? Let me start a greeting card line in the middle of the tech capital of the world. That's a good idea. Oh, wait, I have slides. Good. But I come from a household where letters were flying between my mom, our family, and our family in Japan. These were our lifelines. These were the next best thing to actually physically being there. And I saw things change because I come from a time before technology, when dinosaurs ruled the world. And I saw everything change into being consumed by digital things. And I thought, you know what? This is a good fight to fight for. Human connection, and use a little humor along the way. So I used my mom's tools, and I created a line called Papa Llama. It's my mom's tools, metal and sharp, and the softness of the connection between my family overseas, bringing us together. Water is amazing right now. All right, so when I needed to upgrade my whole setup, I was like, let me do letterpress printing because, again, dinosaur before technology. And I had fulfilled two major criteria. One, I could print more, so then I can, of course, make more things, and it still had the artist's touch, and that was great. Second, and probably most important, more important than the first one, was that they're badass and they're sexy as hell. I mean, look at this. Yeah. It didn't matter that I didn't know how to use them. And I thought, hey, you know what would be a really great idea, because I'm full of those? Why don't I just take a broken one and then I'll just learn how to use it, and then, then I could fix it, I could learn it. And that sounds like a good idea for my greeting card line in the tech capital of the world. Good. But actually, it ended up being the best idea, because what it tapped into was the printmaking community. And that was the first time that I got to see a larger artistic community, because I, introvert, artist, business school, didn't have it before. They were the ones that taught me how to use these 1-ton machines. Paper cutters, rightfully called guillotines because they will slice every limb off like butter. They turned into my friends, my support, my teachers. And you know what? They were mostly women, because, surprise, there are a whole bunch of people who don't want you to have information for seemingly no other reason than they just don't want you to have it. My heavy metal brought me the softness of community. And letterpress became my shield for nearly a decade. Behind it, I learned. I stewed in imposter syndrome. I don't know if anyone's familiar with imposter syndrome, but yeah, I was really stewing behind that shield. But it was also giving me time and chance to find my creative voice. Heavy metal brought me confidence. And running my line became a full-time gig, which I was very lucky for. But after hours, I spent my time building things from inside of my head. The world that looks like this. I did it for joy, I did it for fun, I did it because it made my friends laugh, and it was to never be seen by the light of day. And it was my dear friend George McCalman. He said, Riri, I think the world that's in your head, I think it needs to come out. And with that, he got me my first art show and my first art solo show, which was just absolutely terrifying because this is the stuff that's like inside my most precious inner world. Like, this was just for my friends and my family. And you want me to bring that out for like everyone to see? Oh, no, thank you, but I'll do it. And George was brave so that I could be more vulnerable and brave. And it was because of that show, and it was because of him where I got to see that people were delighted in the things that I made, my silly, playful things. People enjoyed. It felt like a warm welcome, and that people were coming into my world to play. Because again, introvert. I'm an only child. Like my world doesn't have too many people in it. Tons of puppets though, tons. So my friend, brave, helped me be brave. By the time the pandemic hit, I was forced to leave my metal shell. And it happened to be at a time when I was trying to get more and more curious about needle felting, which is taking soft wool and using sharp-ass needles. That's right. Through this, I was able to find a new language to speak. And through it, I told stories of, seems dangerous. I told stories of isolation, of loneliness, pandemic era, heartbreak. I even told stories about my great aunt who survived the atomic bomb. I thought, this stuff is magic because it can hold the weight of heavy stories, and it can really just cocoon everything and then just release them into the world in a safe way for me. And little did I know how much I was going to need it. Because after a decade of fighting, my dad passed with Parkinson's. It broke me. It broke my family. I'm an introvert, but I can cry in public. I have no problem with that. The years before that broke us. And this new loss, it felt like a new way to break. I wanted to wrap myself in felt in all the softness I could, but more in like a padded room sort of way. Because I had this energy, I was a big ball of energy of just sadness and grief and loss, and I just needed to channel it somewhere, anywhere that wasn't going to destroy me in the process, because I knew that would really bum my dad out. My heart was heavy. Grief is isolating. It's overwhelming, and it's an endless feeling to carry. But in my biggest pains, I made my biggest works. They were overwhelming. They filled rooms. They transformed into soft and colorful and really kind of fun places for people to be in. And I think I did that because I wanted a welcoming place for people to come sit, because I didn't want to sit in that alone all the time. Grief changed me. I was the most soft, the most vulnerable, the most jagged, the most sharp I've ever been. I was without a shell. I had no cocoon, no shield, nothing, and I didn't care. My heart was heavy, and I think I created the softness I could no longer see. I felt alone in grief, but little did I know that what had been there was always there all along. Community. In a terrible timing, I had organized my first community event. It was a drink and draw at my friend's bar. We already set the dates, and just again with the timing, it was really bad. It was a month after my dad passed. And I just want you to know that I love when plans are canceled or canceling plans. I'm sorry, I'm one of those people. You probably never see me because we're canceling plans. But my desire to have a moment to breathe in grief far outweighed my infinite love of canceling plans. And I'm so glad I did, because my community showed up. My friends showed up. Strangers showed up, and we all just sat there together and drew. My heavy heart was wrapped in their softness. Through that, I felt more inspired to teach, to share, to bring people together, because my creative journey has always been that of community. I grew when they grew. I cared more. I wanted to support more. And sometimes that meant just showing up. And here we are at a time when softness is seen as weakness, when cruelty and selfishness outweigh our humanity, when our feeds feed us hopelessness, helplessness, and despair, and with good reason. I mean, really, it's all very valid and very, very real. Where we lose time on our screens and spend more time in them than with the people that we care about. I think tactics to keep us feeling paralyzed and powerless, when in reality, we have that. In the general world kind of setting, it's I don't really know what to do, and where do I put my energy, and of course I'm going to vote and all the things, but that can be really overwhelming. But right here, this room, this city, our communities, we have a direct impact on. You all showed up today. It's Friday morning. You all showed up, and not only showed up, but you shared, you connected, we made silly faces. This place is created and continues on through our lovely volunteers, because they want to see this exist in the world. And we're here too, because we want it as well. We all have our different ways of making art. We all have our different ways of cultivating community. And now is the time to bring our abilities forward. Softness is strength. But when you mix it with other materials, it becomes stronger. Softness to me is community, creativity, humanity. It's not something passive or something to be taken advantage of. Our imperfections, our complexities, those are things that make us stronger too. So I want to ask you, what is your soft wool? And what materials will you use to make it stronger? Thank you for your time, your attention, and I hope everyone gets to take a nap today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.